Have you ever wondered what it would be like if the world had a reset button? Well, according to one of the most famous stories ever told, it actually happened. This is the incredible story of Noah's Ark. In a time long ago, the world had become a pretty wild place. People weren't being very kind to each other, and things had gotten out of hand. But there was one man, Noah, who stood out. He was a good person, a family man who tried to do the right thing. One day, God spoke to Noah with a monumental task. He told him a great flood was coming, a flood so massive it would cover the entire earth. It was a plan to wash away all the trouble and start fresh. But God wanted to save Noah, his family, and the innocent animals. So, He gave Noah a very specific set of instructions. Build a gigantic boat, an ark. This wasn't just any boat. It had to be huge, 3 stories high, made of gopher wood, and sealed with pitch to make it waterproof. God told him to build rooms inside and a window near the top. Imagine the looks Noah must have gotten from his neighbors. Here's this guy in the middle of dry land, building a massive ship. They probably thought he was crazy, but Noah trusted the plan. He and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, worked day and night, cutting wood, hammering nails, and piecing together this colossal vessel. Then came the next part of the mission. God instructed Noah to gather animals from every species on earth. Not just one but 2 of every kind, a male and a female. And for some specific animals, he was to bring 7 pairs. Can you picture it? Lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. Elephants, giraffes, monkeys, tiny little ants, and soaring eagles all making their way, 2 by 2, into the ark. It must have been the most amazing and chaotic parade in history. Once Noah, his wife, his sons, their wives, and all the animals were safely aboard, God Himself sealed the door of the ark. Then, the first drop of rain fell, and then another. Soon, it wasn't just rain. The Bible says, the fountains of the great deep burst forth, and the floodgates of the heavens were opened. It rained non-stop for 40 days and 40 nights. The water level rose higher and higher, covering the fields, the towns, and eventually even the tallest mountains. Everything outside the ark was washed away. Inside, Noah and his family floated on the endless ocean, safe and dry, surrounded by the sounds and smells of their floating zoo. It must have been a challenging time, caring for all those creatures in a confined space for so long, but they were protected, riding out the greatest storm the world has ever known. After the 40 days of rain, the water covered the earth for a total of 150 days. Finally, the waters began to recede. The ark eventually came to rest on the mountains of Ararat. Still, they couldn't just open the door. Noah had to be patient. First, he sent out a raven, which flew back and forth. Then, he sent out a dove. The first time, it came back with nothing. He waited 7 more days and sent it out again. This time, it returned with a freshly plucked olive leaf in its beak. This was the sign Noah had been waiting for. The flood was over, and new life was beginning to grow. He waited 1 more week, sent the dove out a final time, and it didn't return. It had found a place to land. Finally, the day came. God told Noah it was time to leave the ark. The great door was opened, and out they came, blinking in the sunlight. Noah, his family, and all the animals stepped out onto a brand new clean world. The first thing Noah did was build an altar to thank God for saving them. And in response, God made a promise, not just to Noah, but to all of humanity and every living creature for all future generations. He promised He would never again destroy the earth with a flood. And as a beautiful, visible sign of this everlasting promise, he set a rainbow in the clouds. So now, every time you see a rainbow arching across the sky after a storm, you can remember this ancient story. It's a story of faith, of second chances, and of a promise that shines bright even after the darkest of storms. It's a powerful reminder that even when things seem overwhelming, there is always hope for a new beginning. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible tales from history. See you next time.